What is up, everybody? Isaac here. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than usual, not like the out in the field videos like I've been doing. So a few of you guys have asked me if I could do a little tutorial video on kind of my editing and my workflow after I take the photo. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. And we have this photo I took, let's see, this past fall, so it would have been the fall of 2018, in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming, of this big bull moose. And this was my favorite bull moose this year. Some of the locals called him Shoshone, and he was just very impressive. The biggest bull out here this year. You can see he just had a massive rack, so he was really cool. Anyways, so yeah, let's just jump right into it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from Adobe Color to Adobe Standard to give it more of a flat look right now. I want everything to be as flat as it possibly can at first, just so I have more to work with. So, one thing that I noticed right after I took this was that he has a strand of hair across his eye, and to me, that's extremely distracting when you zoom in like this. So I'm not usually a fan of taking things out of a picture that, were there originally. But for this instance, I feel like it's necessary. So I'm just going to draw a little line over that. I did that with the spot removal tool here, and already I think that looks a lot better. I'll be able to sleep at night now. So now that that's done, I'm going to go over here to the crop tool and just crop this down because I feel like there's just too much empty space up top here above his head. So I'm going to crop this down a little bit like that, and then just move it over just like that. Perfect. I like to add a little bit of empty space wherever the animal is looking. So since he's looking this way towards the left hand side, I like to leave a little bit of empty space over here where he's looking. So now that that's done, that's going to be perfect. So when I'm editing, I like to keep it pretty simple. I don't like to go overboard and make it look fake, but part of my style is I like to make things more moody. I like to add a little bit of mood to the photo. I like to make it a little bit darker, and just give it a moody vibe. So that's what I'm going to do here with this picture. So first things first, let's just add some sharpening. It looks like out of the camera it already had 40%, but let's just bump that up to, let's go all the way to 90, 96 is fine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Option key on my laptop and then go to masking, and everything that's white in the frame, all the white highlights that you see are going to be what's affected with the sharpness tool, because you don't want that background affected or else it'll get grainy, and which is unnecessary. So I'm going to go to about that, just add some extra sharpening on his antlers and his face area here. I think that looks good right there. Next, what I'm going to do is just, let's see here. Let's go down to vignette. I want to add a little bit of vignette to kind of draw the focus more to his face and less away from the background. So let's just play with this a little bit. Like that, and then add the midpoint way into his face. Let's even go a little bit darker. Yeah, right around there. I think that looks good. Now let's go back up here. Maybe add just a little bit of contrast now, like so. That looks good right there. One thing I like to do with my pictures is I like to actually decrease the clarity, because let me tell you folks, I am a bokeh freak, and I love the blurry, the blurrier the background the better. So I'm just going to decrease the clarity a little bit. And now you guys are probably thinking, oh, but now the bull moose, look, his face just looks bad. It looks dull, and it just doesn't look good. So how I fix that is I'm going to go into my brush tool here, reset all the settings here, and then where I decrease the clarity, now I'm going to raise it all the way, maybe a little less than all the way, right there. I'm going to shrink my little brush tool here, and now I'm just going to brush in those areas where I don't want that declarity to kick in. So I'm just going to brush that right there. some on his antler because I don't want that. Now right there. And I think he looks too boomified now, so I'm actually going to get rid of a little bit of that. Right there. I think that looks good. Just like that. Perfect. We are getting somewhere, ladies and gents. Now one thing is, I feel like his antler here is getting a little blown out. So I'm just going to go back into my brush tool, and I'm going to add a little bit of clarity. But then I'm just going to bring my highlights down, maybe even my exposure just a tad bit. And now I'm going to draw in where I want those highlights to come back. Just like so. Let's see what that looks like. See, I almost feel like I overdid it a little bit, so I'm going to press that again and just put my highlights back. Perfect. I think that right there is perfect. Now let's see. I almost feel like it just needs a little bit more darkness, especially in the bottom here. I feel like we can darken that a little bit. So I'm going to grab this little tool here. I forget what it's called. Reset all those. And now I'm just going to bring the exposure down a little bit, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to create one of these lines right here and just bring that up so that it's just affecting this bottom area right there. I'm even going to go a little bit darker. Something like that. Let me bring up the contrast. Yeah, perfect. Now that that's done, I feel like we're getting pretty close. Pretty close. Let's just play with the temperature tool up here just to see what a little bit more warmth will do to it. And I feel like that looks pretty good. So now that that's done, I feel like this is looking pretty close. I just want to see if a little bit more vignetting would do us any good. Let's do, yeah, all the way to there. I feel like that right there. I am happy with that. Let's go with that, folks. I think that is my finished product. I just added a little bit of mood. Let's see. So we started from, here's the original shot, and we took it to there. So just added a little bit of mood, gave it a little bit of a darker feel to the picture, gave it some sharpening. You know, pretty subtle. I don't like to go overboard, but just give it a little bit more mood. So yeah, that's about it, folks. That's pretty much what I do. I mean, I don't like to spend too long with a photo. I'm not one of those people who spends, you know, a couple hours editing one photo. I like to get through it fairly quickly, and I've developed a style to where I know I can kind of picture in my head what I want it to end up looking like. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a pretty short one. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazzy goodness. So yeah, that's kind of it, folks. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night or day, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces. Later.